This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for today, Friday, January 10th, 2025. We are broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, the body of the Chinese national who fell into the Demerara River from the construction site of the new bridge is recovered 2 days later. Attorneys James Bond and Selwyn Pieters endorse President Ali for a second term.
I'm giving you a second term. I said that publicly, sir.
The president holds the state's appeal against the $24 million award for Quindon Bacchus killing. Guyana likely to provide training for Caribbean teachers. And in sport, Republic Bank CPL 2025 set for August 14th to September 21st, and Boxing Association to open 2025 with Terrence Alli National Open. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that the body of Yan Weifu, the Chinese national who fell into the Demerara River while working on the new Demerara River Bridge, was recovered Friday morning. The newsroom was reliably informed that around 9 hours 20, workers at the new Demerara River Bridge observed something floating in the river. As such, they informed the security, who made further checks and discovered it was a body. The police was subsequently informed, and ranks attached to the marine section that should be responded and fished the body out of the river. The body was escorted to a nearby wharf where Fu was positively identified. It was then escorted to the Ezekiel Funeral Home and is awaiting a post-mortem examination. Fu fell into the Demerara River during rigging and offloading operations at around 20 hours 20 on Wednesday. In a significant show of support for President Irfaan Ali, attorney-at-law and businessman James Bond, along with several residents of Melanie on the east coast of Demerara, publicly endorsed the president for a second term in office on Thursday. The endorsement came during President Ali's ongoing community outreach tour, which is aimed at engaging directly with citizens to address concerns and build stronger connections. Bond, a member of the opposition People's National Congress Reform and a former parliamentarian, made his endorsement in a heartfelt manner. Standing alongside President Ali, Bond praised the head of state's consistent commitment to the people of Guyana, highlighting how the president had always remembered him and maintained a personal connection since his tenure as a minister.
Where's James Bond? I thought you come and telling you support, make sure you support me in the next election. And you support
me. President Ali is one person who's always remembered me. From since he was a minister, he's always remembered me. He's been a friend to me. And I'm giving you a second term. I said that publicly, sir.
Melanie, this community here, this same turnout that we see in here now, and more on the day, we young people just want to let you guys know that we're going to ensure that this administration get a next term. This Melanie community here, and more, we're going to ensure and we're going to see to it that this administration get a next term.
We tell you now that President Irfaan Ali has intervened to halt the state's plan to appeal a $24 million court ruling in the case of Quindon Bacchus, a young man who was tragically shot and killed by police officers in June 2022. The decision, announced on Thursday by the Vice President, Dr. Bartica, came after a request from the Attorney General's chamber to challenge the court's compensation award. However, following consultations, President Ali directed that the appeal be dropped and that the compensation be paid to Bacchus's family. The move follows a complex legal battle where the state had already admitted liability for Bacchus's death but had contested the amount of compensation awarded. The court ruling, delivered in November 2023, found the state liable and ordered the substantial payout, which the government initially felt was excessive. At a recent press conference, Vice President Jadio revealed that President Ali had been briefed on the situation. Now, with talks surrounding the human metapneumovirus, the HMPV, circulating, Guyana's Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, said while the Caribbean Public Health Agency has the capability to diagnose the disease, a challenge is not anticipated. However, he emphasized the importance of having a system in place to manage such diseases and highlighted Guyana's work in managing viral diseases.
We have been checking. We haven't had any cases here, and in the region, CARFA has the capability of being able to diagnose. And in fact, this is not a new thing. This is something that has been around for many years. Looking at the disease profile, it is not one where you have high fatality rates. So it's not a new disease. It's something that has been around and been in existence. It's not a new pathogen. We have had cases of, let's say, like a cousin of this particular disease, which is RSV. And we have been able to manage them quite successfully. So we don't anticipate a challenge, but since we have seen whatever is going on globally, we have made sure that we would be able to collect samples and being able to send those samples for the diagnosis. If people get sick and they come into one of our facilities or they come for a test, we'll obviously be able to take that sample and then be able to make the diagnosis. And that's what everybody else is doing. So look, with infectious diseases, one of the things that you will see happening is that you will have many more of these things coming to the fore. What is important is that you have a system where you're prepared to manage them. And in Guyana, we have done quite a lot of work to manage viral diseases. And in fact, this year, we will do even more work because last year we had applied to the pandemic fund and we've received $15 million to help us to strengthen our surveillance system and to help us to strengthen our laboratory system and also to recruit and have more specialists in the Ministry of Health. So we will be rolling out that project. We are expecting that we'll get sometime in March, those monies would become effective, and the project would be over the next 3 years. So this would also help us to strengthen whatever we do. We're not preparing for a single disease. This would help us to enhance the system so that if there's anything in the animal population that jumps into the human population, we'll be able to detect it and have a stronger approach to viruses in the human population.
Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo has firmly rejected false claims circulated by political opponents, sections of the media and commentators, which suggest that he supported a waiving of tax for ExxonMobil while serving as opposition leader. The claims have resurfaced and are linked to remarks made by the former Environmental Minister, Raphael Trotman, in his book, From Destiny to Prosperity. In the book, Trotman alleges that Jagdeo, as opposition leader at the time, was briefed about the provisions of the controversial oil contract with ExxonMobil, which reportedly included tax waivers. The claims have sparked fresh controversy, with political commentators and members of the opposition attempting to link Jagdeo to the terms of the agreement signed between ExxonMobil and the APNU AFC government. Jagdeo, however, has strongly dismissed the allegations, labeling them as a disingenuous attempt to tie the People's Progressive Party to the controversial agreement that he says was signed by the previous government.
Jagdeo, as opposition leader, secretly agreed with coalition government to waive taxes to Exxon. This is the new thing to link the PPP to the agreement because they find it inconvenient now to come after us. Kaicho News bombshell. Jagdeo secretly agreed with coalition to waive taxes. This is their bombshell. That's the news, front page news. So this is, so people are saying they got to be stupid about this. Where did this come from now? How come they didn't discover this all the years? We're now just coming up to elections and now PPP agreed to the bad agreement in 2016. You think if I had a deal with APNU, they'd be love to, all these years, they would have mentioned it, they would shout at the top of their voices, they're taking out ads. So this is Their source now, the vagrant, Trotman, a vagrant, told him that. And then Lalbachan Ram, Christopher Ram, now known as Christopher Ram, he repeated this in his recycled arguments about the renegotiation. It lacks erudition. They just fill up the pages of the newspaper with nonsense. And I don't think they're so caught up with themselves that they don't recognize, as was pointed out by so many people who wrote subsequently, that they are just using recycled arguments and offer no real justification for the key issues at hand.
Minister of Education Priya Manichan announced on Friday that Guyana is exploring the possibility of training teachers from at least 2 Caribbean countries through the Cyril Potter College of Education online program. More in this report.
3 years after the Cyril Potter College of Education (CPCE) started online training for teachers in Guyana, the program is in discussion to be shared with other Caribbean countries. This was revealed by Education Minister Priya Manichan during a review of the education sector for 2024. She disclosed having discussions with Grenada and Barbados, among other countries, about extending the online program for teachers in those countries.
So our teacher training story has been a really remarkable successful story for us here in Guyana. And I'd be happy to tell you that because we're online, we have been approached by at least 2 Caribbean countries, colleagues who have asked about how they could, their teachers, much smaller numbers than ours, could benefit from this online training that we have. And that is something we're currently exploring with them because, of course, you know, Guyana, once we have something, we share it.
Highlighting the success of online learning for Guyanese, Minister Manichan was optimistic about training teachers from other countries.
It's an online program, so we would have to work out how teaching practice is done in those countries if we were to use this. But we are studying, 29,000 and something Guyanese are studying in other universities in other countries, and it works. So online can work regardless of where we are.
Meanwhile, between 2020 and 2024, some 4,738 teachers in Guyana have been trained. This is a result of expanding training programs so more teachers can access without leaving their homes.
We also asked the University of Guyana to take their program online. By their program, I mean their degree program. And so there's no need for teachers to ask for leave to exit. Before, all the teachers would know that only 2 or 3 of them could go to UG at any given point.
But now there are no limits. Entire schools can pursue their education degrees simultaneously without interfering with their teaching hours because of online learning. For Newsroom, Isanelo Patwo.
When the newsroom returns, we tell you about enhanced drainage and agricultural projects for several East Coast Demerara communities and second youth-friendly space opened by Human Services Ministry. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Several acres of lands will be developed for agriculture innovation projects, while drainage will be enhanced, and there will be other community development projects soon in Melanie and other villages along the east coast of Demerara. President Irfaan Ali made this announcement on Thursday during an outreach in the community.
It's very disappointing to see we have met with the Ministry of Agriculture. We've been promised a lot of things to develop our community and develop the farmland back, and to date, nothing has been done. We've had meetings with Nari and everybody that we can possibly have. We take down names and we go around in circles.
I'm a teacher at Traspe Primary. I'm kindly asking for sports gears and sports equipment to develop the children other than academic, for them to develop in terms of sports.
These were some concerns raised by residents of communities on the east coast of Demerara. Over the past few days, the residents were given the opportunity to engage President Dr. Irfaan Ali, who has conducted several community outreaches for this week. So far, President Ali has visited Melanie, Enterprise Dazzle Housing Scheme, and Nomprel, all East Coast Demerara communities. The outreaches are being carried out so that he can have direct engagements with the people to cater for their needs ahead of the 2025 national budget, which will be read on January 17. At each outreach, President Ali addressed concerns and made commitments. The most recent include the development of agriculture projects, enhanced drainage and community development geared at benefiting the people.
We are investing in agriculture with a long vision, and that is to be an integral part of the regional food security drive. Now, agriculture has changed dramatically. What you used to make on 100 acres of land, with innovation, technology, science, you can make on 2 acres of land. So, as you know, and you know this, on the coastline we're running out of land rapidly. All the housing development is already embracing the critical areas to the conservancy. So I'm going to ask the Ministry of Agriculture to work with you in the group to see how we can identify a 5-acre that we can put all the infrastructure in. And we can work with you on developing an agriculture innovation plan where we can use the most modern technology in building tunnel houses for chicken, in building for egg production, and work with you to have a highly integrated 5 acres. So you don't need 100 acres of pasture or 10 acres of pasture. If you're doing the pigs, for example, how we can do it in a more controlled environment, give you all of that. The second issue that I've seen that is critical to this community is drainage. And Lionel is going to come up with a drainage plan where we can use, as far as possible, community persons too, and where we have the main canals, DNI would support that. The nursery school, we're going to definitely look at the nursery school. I'm going to send a team in here. And Suzanne, and Jill and Frank, they're involved. They're in charge. You don't have to go through any ministry. So they will come, they will do the assessment, and then we'll make the decision. Definitely, I'll also ask the Forest Lady to work with us on having this play area redone so the children can have a play area. And then we'll look at a community space that we can enhance.
The PPPC government has been praised by the people for their direct engagements, particularly at the community level, which allows people to voice their concerns.
I must commend you for the things you've done. You surprised me, to be honest.
I'm from the village of Buxton, and I'm cordially inviting you to come to that village. We need you. We need to hear your voice because I heard you going from village to village.
At these outreaches, the president is accompanied by government ministers and officials from key agencies so that issues are addressed on the spot. Reporting for the newsroom, Quindon Bacchus.
Guyana is well positioned to swiftly secure its share of the funds required for the long-anticipated Quindon River Bridge, with Vice President Dr. Bartica confirming the country's readiness to proceed with the project. Speaking at his regular press conference on Thursday, Jagdeo revealed that while Guyana will rely on a loan for its 50% contribution, there is no concern about securing the necessary funds once Suriname signals its readiness to move forward.
This is a joint project with Suriname, and we're going to share the cost because the benefits would be shared by both countries too. We will get a ton of our exports into Suriname, and if we do our deep water harbor, I think we'd be able to capitalize, repay this loan with great ease once we do the deep water harbor in the Berbice area. So we have looked at the benefits to Guyana. They are great. There would be good, the benefits would also be great for Suriname itself, for its industrialization and development purposes. I think both countries recognize that it's a good project. We've been working at this for a while. It took longer than anticipated because they had to go through several iterations of contractors and going back and forth because it's a joint project. We're at a stage now where the parties have to come to the table to say we can come up with our share of the money. We're prepared to make that commitment now, and we can raise our share of the resources swiftly. And once the other side can do that, then the project will move fast.
On Thursday, the Minister of India Prasad opened the second youth-friendly space operated by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security's Family Enhancement Services section at Strathaven on the east coast of Demerara. This was supported by the United Nations Population Fund and will provide services catering to youth, including mentorship, counseling, support with homework, mental health sessions, sport, and more. The program is designed to provide positive strategies to combat at-risk behaviors. Minister Vindhya Prasad and other officers engaged the youth and children of the area and explained the purpose of the space. Amid increasing concerns about new avenues for bullying, such as online platforms and social media, Minister of Education Priya Manichan announced on Friday the development of a strategic plan to address this, which will include parents signing contracts.
So we don't have an increase in reports. What we have is in 92 of our schools, we have placed guidance and counseling officers in 92 schools out of our 116 schools. So some schools where we had thought there was a need, they have 2, and some schools have 3 guidance and counseling officers, which are counselors. So to answer the short answer is we haven't seen an increase in bullyism, but we do have in the world more avenues by which people can be bullied, and that means everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has access to all kinds of social media forums. And so bullying is not only in the classroom. We have had the various forms, complaints of the various forms of bullying and abuse of children. We're going to launch very soon something that Olato Sam had begun to work on, that he didn't complete it when he died. So we are completing it with the assistance of Anne Green, former head of the Child Care and Protection Agency, as Dr. Green, sorry, Saddam told me, I love her. But we're trying to put together the a full strategy that involves parents signing contracts and some other things that we want to test before we put out fully. By test, I mean consult on. Because the one thing we have not had input here, which Olato didn't get to do before he died, was to take it out for consultation. And when you have so many stakeholders, we have to consult around some of these policies, because a successful implementation would involve all of us.
Now, at the Johanna Cecilia Secondary School, a pioneering agricultural project is empowering students with practical business skills, helping them to create value-added products. The school's agriculture science teacher, Davin Mizer, spoke with the newsroom about the initiative. He said it aims to make agriculture more than just a subject and teaches students not only how to grow food, but also how to cultivate business acumen and entrepreneurship.
I'm an agricultural science teacher attached to the school for a few years now. Okay, so we're aim is to be one of the first secondary school to actually have a product in the shelves of supermarkets and stores and supplying of to restaurants, caterers, etc. So what we do, we plant our stuff. Whatever is it that we don't sell, we decided to do the value-added product. So for example, we have peppers right now. Providing that we can't get the peppers off to the market, the initiative came about, so why not launch a product? So that's why we came up with the whole pepper sauce and green seasoning idea. All products and produce are done by the students and assisted by the teachers within the agricultural science department at the school. What we're trying to do in the department is teach them a skill so that when they finish school, they could actually pursue a career. They could be their own, become their own entrepreneurs and start their own business. We actually started, we would have launched that initiative, I think was sometime last year before, I can't give an exact date, but I think it was sometime in 2023. In the latter part of 2023, that initiative would have been started. Also, funds from the project also offset. We try to help a few students in terms of paying for the CXE exams as well. Okay, some challenges are being a school. Sometimes funding would be a problem. So sometimes it takes a little while for us to generate that income to actually start back. And then when school closes for that, for every period, we have a little break in between. Future plans is that we could start to expand, producing more stuff, whether it be from jams to products that should not be imported in the country, that should be supplied right here. And being local, we should not have things coming down from Tongwell, from Georgia or other regions, whereas it could be produced and manufactured right here in Esquivel.
The Ministry of Amerindian Affairs has managed to conduct 168 elections for 2024, thus electing 133 males and 35 females to lead Indigenous villages across the country. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai said such elections are a big deal for the ministry, as completing them are challenging and takes just as much work as that of the local government elections. The work is all worth it, though, as a new team of young leaders has been appointed.
It's like a big elections for us. It may be an Amerindian village council election or village leader elections, but it is as widespread as a local government elections, because we have to go to 111 villages and conduct elections. So in total, we actually did 168 elections. 168 elections. This is very challenging, because you have to do exactly what, in similar fashion, you have to put up the list months before. They have to scrutinize the list. They have to approve the list. They have to do a nomination of the councillors and of the leaders, and then they have to do the elections. Then they have to do the results. Then they have to present the results and declare and swear in the two shows. Doing this across the country is no easy task. So again, we were very successful in doing these elections, and it resulted in 168 leaders being elected, 35 females and 133 males. So you see the leadership mix there too.
The Ministry of Health has significantly boosted its vector control services with a $646 million investment in equipment and supplies. These will be distributed to all 10 administrative regions across Guyana to aid in the reduction of vectors, especially mosquitoes, and ultimately the number of vector-borne diseases in the country.
Today marks a crucial step in the overall action plan for reducing the burden of vector-borne diseases in Guyana. Today before you, you see tools, but these are not just merely tools. This is the substantive commitment of the administration and the Ministry of Health to improving the collective efforts to prevent the spread of vector-borne diseases in Guyana. What we hope to date will do is cement the impact that we hope to have in reducing vector-borne diseases and ultimately contribute to the disease elimination plan that the Honorable Minister has spearheaded for the Ministry of Health.
One of the big problems that we have is to work to control vector-borne infections in Guyana. And for those vector-borne infections that we have focused on, we have placed a lot of emphasis on those transmitted by mosquitoes. And there are quite a number of diseases that are transmitted by mosquitoes. But if we attack the vector, which is the mosquito, then we can reduce all of these diseases. In Guyana, we would have seen in 2023, we had approximately 8,000 cases of dengue being diagnosed. And we have seen in 2024, those cases go up slightly to about 11,000. And already for the year, we have made about 62 diagnoses for the year. So we want to reduce the incidence of dengue in Guyana. We want to reduce the incidence of malaria and other vector-borne diseases. And we believe one way of doing this is to interrupt the cycle. And what you see before you here is ways and means of how we can interrupt that cycle. Because by killing the mosquito, by killing that vector, then we are preventing the transmission. We have had a lengthy discussion with the technical staff, and what you're seeing here today represents a 646 million Guyana dollars investment, both in terms of the equipment, these spraying machines that you have here, and of course these fogging machines that you see here. We also recognize if we are going to be using these types of machine, we have to equip the staff, properly attire them, so that the things that they're sending out, the mist that would be going out, that they're not affected by that. And so you see they have the helmets, they have the things for your ear, and more importantly, you have the mask, because these masks are intended to prevent the person who is spraying from getting sick. We are distributing the equipment to every region of our country, and we are training the people in every region of our country. And we'll be working with the NDCs, the municipalities, so that they would have the capacity to do this. By training them, their staff at the NDC and municipality, by giving them the equipment, giving them the protective gear, giving them the chemicals, because when these chemicals run out too, we'll continue to supply them with the chemicals. And our staff in the ministry would be not just doing the training, but from time to time would be doing the oversight. So we intend that as we do this and building this capacity, we'll be able to do multiple regions at the same time. And therefore, for this year, we don't anticipate that once we do this properly, that we'll have too many mosquitoes, and therefore we should see a significant drop in the cases that we have been diagnosing.
Now you have to take ownership of these things, and bottom line is, it is the people who have got the benefit. These equipment will be handed over to you. Make sure that you utilize them properly, but more importantly, you take care of them. There's not chicken feed money. There's a lot of money that's invested here. You have to take care of them. You have to service them. You will be held accountable. You'll be given adequate amounts. Minister sat down, spent his time with the experts to calculate how much of what you need. It has been calculated. We want you to make it work on behalf of the regions. I'm telling you, Minister, we are going to make this work. But the regions, the RHOs, you have got a responsibility to ensure that we get the full lifespan out of these pieces of equipment.
We are so grateful for these additional appliances or equipment which will serve in the aspect of vector control activities, and we will urge that the various departments will use them in terms of decreasing the incidence of infectious disease, more so the arthropod transmitting diseases. And of course, we'll extend that to the NDCs where we have a better control plan. And of course, we'll ultimately see the eradication of such. I was guided that there is a series of vehicle-mounted fogging machines, some 57 plus. There's quite a lot of swing fogging machines, and of course, chemicals to support that. We also are pleased and thankful for the initiative of fuel and lubes being provided to the 10 administrative regions, and that will aid the process. The personnel aspect will be supported by not just the Department of Health, also will have the NDCs playing a pivotal role, and for the indigenous communities, the village councils and Tushaus as well will play a pivotal role. I'm optimistic, everyone will be optimistic at the end of this, that these equipment will be able to serve our country as a whole, and we'll see some positive curve in terms of disease elimination plan.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports along with sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. Cricket aficionados can start planning their travel early with Republic Bank CPL announcing the specific window for the 2025 tournament. Once again, Guyana will host the finals in September, ending a 4-year run of the back end of the tournament being hosted in the country. On Friday, it was announced that the 2025 Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League (CPL) will take place from Thursday, August 14th to Sunday, September 21st. In a press release, CPL said that the window has been agreed between CPL and Cricket West Indies (CWI), and once again, there will be no clash with West Indies international matches. The 6 teams taking part in the 2025 season will be Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, Barbados Royals, Guyana Amazon Warriors, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, St. Lucia Kings, and Trinbago Knight Riders. The teams will compete across 34 matches to decide who will claim the 2025 CPL title, which is currently held by St. Lucia Kings. Pete Russell, the Chief Executive Officer of the Republic Bank CPL, said, and I quote, "We are pleased to have once again worked with Cricket West Indies to find a window that allows the very best players from across the region to take part in the CPL. The 2024 season was our most successful to date, and we are looking forward to building on that success in 2025. Linford Inverary, Cricket West Indies acting CEO and COO, said that the regional cricket body is delighted to confirm the 2025 CPL window. He said, and I quote, "While CWI continues to take a leading role in shaping our overall cricket calendar, the CPL remains a key part of our cricketing ecosystem, playing an important role in the development and promotion of the game throughout the Caribbean. Our collaboration with CPL ensures that the best talent will be on display while avoiding any conflicts with international cricket." End quote. Meanwhile, the finals will be hosted in Guyana in 2025 through a 1-year deal after the country hosted for the last 3 years in succession, while Barbados will host the finals for the first time in 2026. Now, Alec Atenez narrowly missed 100 as West Indies closed day 1 of their 3-day practice match against Pakistan Shaheens on 273 for 7 from 74 overs in Rawalpindi. The left-hander was bowled by Amit Safi Abdullah on 99 an innings that spanned 142 balls and included 13 fours and a 6. Atenez was the only West Indian to get a 50-plus score on the day, with openers Craig Braffett and Mikel Louis with wicketkeeper batter Amir Jangu, who scored a 100 ODI debut in December and is now aiming to break into the Test side, is unbeaten on 29 of 42, with Joshua De Silva not out on 11. Casey Carty made 22, Kavim Hodge 17, Tevin Imlach 13, and Justin Greaves 5. This is the West Indies' low-end warm-up ahead of the first test starting on January 17th. The second and final test begins on January 25th.
I mean, obviously it was a slow wicket. Didn't have much grass on it at first, but the ball did a bit, which was a bit surprising. It did a bit for the Pieters, but it spun a lot. So, all in all, I mean, it suited my game a bit because I play spin very well. I sweep, I reverse sweep and stuff, but I mean, I would have loved 100. But, I mean, there you go.
Yeah, 13 fours and a 6. Just looking back at the innings, how did you build that innings from start to where you got out?
I mean, it was slow at first because I came in when it was approaching a break, so I was just trying to assess and see what was going on. I mean, we had a couple net sessions, but it's still time in the middle is still valuable. So I mean, it started up slow, and then I kicked off right after the break, and then things started flowing on.
And 273 for 7 at the end of the day's play. I don't think score really matters, but time. What has been the reception of the other players in terms of what they encountered on the surface?
I mean, it was good to see, that we actually got chance to stay out in the wicket. Not just trying to survive, but also trying to score. And, it was good to see us finding ways to score in conditions that were so difficult for scoring. And playing the spinners, they were very good spinners, and playing them and actually picking off and scoring runs and things. That was the biggest point for us today.
Now, the Guyana Basketball Federation, the GBF, has announced the participation of Guyana's senior men's basketball team in the highly anticipated Nations Cup tournament set to take place from January 24th to the 27th in Paramaribo, Suriname. The team will face tough competition from regional rivals Suriname and Grenada in what promises to be a thrilling showcase of basketball talent in the Caribbean. The GBF has shortlisted 23 players for the tournament, emphasizing a commitment to showcasing and developing local talent. The list includes standout performers from the ongoing One Guyana Premier Basketball League. The players selected are Travis Belgrave, Harold Adams, Dominic Vincente, Zion Gray, Nikolai Smith, Yannick Tapin, Shelroy Thomas, Jashawn Bailey, Kwesi Short, Shane Webster, Orlin Glasgow, Jermaine Slater, Kimal Grimmond, Domir Gladstone, Stanton Rose, Shamar Huntley, Denzel Ross, Jamal Jilks, Brando Bento, Emmanuel Attali, Nathan Saul, Jalil Duke, and Elijah David. The team will be led by the head coach, Adrian Hooper, with Marlon Rodriguez serving as the assistant coach and Warren Wilson as team manager. The squad will undergo a rigorous two-day trial this weekend at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall, where the final roster of 12 players will be determined. The Guyana Boxing Association is set to commence the new season with the Terrence Alli National Open Championship from January 17th to the 19th, 2025 at the National Gymnasium, Mandela Avenue. President of the GBA, Steve Ninval, is encouraging boxing fans to witness top amateur boxers in action, the likes of Desmond Amsterdam, Colin Lewis, and Abiola Jackman. Action will commence at 19 hours each night, and admission to the venue is $500. Ninval said that this event will kickstart a packed program for amateur boxing over the next 12 months.
As it relates to the upcoming Terrence Alli National Open, we were forced to move that from last December to holding it in January for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is because of the death of Terrence Poole, who has been the best, I would say, within the Caribbean as an boxing official. So we thought it better to host it in January. I think it may be the first or second time we're actually doing something like this. But nevertheless, that tournament is being held, and from that we'll move into our national offices.
And to promote badminton development in schools, President of the Guyana Badminton Association, Emily Ramdani, recently presented a shuttle time badminton kit to St. Joseph High School. The kit, which includes rackets, shuttlecocks, and nets, was handed over to Ms. Tonya Williams, the head of the PE department at the school. According to the Guyana Badminton Association, this initiative aims to support the school's physical education program and introduce students to badminton, fostering their interest in the sport. The Shuttle Time program, which falls directly under the Badminton World Federation, is geared to make badminton the most popular sport in schools globally. The Shuttle Time program was previously introduced to schools in Berbice, Linden, and Essequibo. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Do have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday.